Complete darkness. A cave in northern Germany. 30,000 bats returning to their winter roost, and standing at the entrance, perfectly still, a brown rat. It rises onto its hind legs, balances with its tail, reaches into the night sky, and snatches a bat right out of the air. Scientists just filmed this for the first time ever, and I have the infrared footage, the kill count, and the cache of 52 dead bats to prove it. Museum of Natural History, Berlin, 2020. Researchers are studying bat communication in Siegberger Kalkberg Cave, about 60 kilometers north of Hamburg. They set up infrared cameras to watch how bats swarm when they enter their hibernation site. Standard research, routine monitoring. And then on October 5th, at 9:43 p.m., lead researcher Florian Glosserausch watches something on the live feed that makes him stop the recording and rewind. A rat standing upright at the cave entrance, and it just grabbed a bat mid-flight. Glosserausch thought it was a fluke. One unlucky bat, wrong place, wrong time. So he kept watching. The rat stayed at the entrance, perfectly still, waiting. And then it happened again. Another bat, another snatch, another kill. This wasn't random scavenging. This was hunting, deliberate, calculated, professional, and nobody had ever documented it before. Watch this. Infrared camera, complete darkness. The rat balances on its hind legs, uses its tail for stability, raises both forelegs, and wait for it, right there. Mid-air interception. The bat never saw it coming. Scientists documented 30 predation attempts over 5 weeks in autumn 2020. 13 successful kills. This is official footage from the Museum of Natural History, Berlin, published in Global Ecology and Conservation, October 2025. But here's what makes this discovery so disturbing. This isn't instinct. Rats don't have an evolutionary history of hunting flying mammals. Their eyesight is terrible in darkness. Bats can echolocate and should detect the threat instantly. Yet, somehow, in urban caves across Germany, rats figured out how to become apex predators of the night sky. If this kind of behavioral adaptation is new to you, you're in the right place. We expose these patterns every week. Subscribe for verified animal science. The researchers needed to understand the scope. Was this isolated to one rat, one cave, or something bigger? They checked their thermal imaging data from 2021 through 2024. Multiple rats, same behavior, both aerial interception and ground ambush strategies. Then they surveyed a second site in Lüneburg, 30 kilometers away. Stop. Before I show you what they found there, you need to understand why rats weren't supposed to be capable of this. Brown rats have poor night vision. Their eyes can't track fast-moving objects in darkness. So how do they catch bats flying at speeds up to 30 kilometers per hour? The researchers believe they're using their whiskers, vibrissae, ultrasensitive tactile hairs that can detect air currents and vibrations. When a bat flies past, the air displacement creates a pressure wave. The rat feels it and strikes. Sensory hunting that requires split-second precision. Think about that for a second. Rats evolved as ground-dwelling scavengers. They eat garbage, grains, whatever humans leave behind. But when food sources changed and tourist trash increased near German bat caves, they didn't just adapt their diet. They learned to hunt flying prey in complete darkness, using non-visual senses. If you've ever underestimated how fast animals can adapt to human environments, You're watching evolution in real time. This is behavioral plasticity, and it's accelerating. Quick question. Have you ever seen a rat in the wild doing something you didn't think they could do? Type yes or no below. Here's the system nobody's talking about. Brown rats are native to Asia. They colonized Central Europe in the 18th century. Since then, they've spread to every major city on Earth except Antarctica. Why? Because we bring them with us. Urbanization creates perfect rat habitat, food waste, sewer systems, warm underground spaces, and now access to bat hibernation sites that were previously isolated. They said rats were just pests. This proves they're strategic predators. Send this to anyone who underestimated urban wildlife. The Siegberger Cave sits next to a busy open-air theater in Bad Siegberg. During summer, thousands of tourists attend performances, Karl May Western shows, musicals. Each visitor leaves food waste. The rats thrive. By autumn, when bats return for hibernation, a well-fed rat population is already patrolling the cave entrance. The rats didn't invade the cave. Humans created a food chain that brought them there, and the bats became collateral damage. At the Lüneburg site, it's even worse. The bat roost is in a public park in Germany's second-largest urban area. City rats, dense population, easy sewer access. The researchers surveyed the rock crevices where Dobentons and Natterer's bats hibernate. Wait, I know what you're thinking. Bats can echolocate. Why don't they just detect the rats and avoid them? Let me show you why that's exactly what makes this discovery so unsettling. The rats figured out how to hunt animals that can literally see in the dark using sound. That's not random. That's problem solving. And here's what they found in Lüneburg. Deep in a rock fissure, a cache, 52 dead bats. Some partially eaten, others untouched, stored like a freezer. The rats weren't just hunting to survive. They were stockpiling, hoarding prey beyond immediate need. This is resource management, forward planning. The same cognitive behavior seen in apex predators, like leopards that drag kills into trees. Remember the infrared footage from evidence 1? That was 1 kill. This is 52, systematic predation. This is why I investigate these behaviors. Subscribe if you want to see what else urban wildlife is hiding. But we're not done, because behind every number is a conservation crisis. Glozerausch and his team ran calculations. They asked, if rats are hunting this efficiently, what's the impact on bat populations? The answer shocked the scientific community. A single rat, subsisting purely on bats during the 3-month winter hibernation period, needs to eat 140 bats to survive. 1 rat, 140 dead bats. Now multiply that by colony size. The Siegberger Cave hosts 30,000 bats every winter, mostly Daubenton's bats and Natterer's bats. Both species are protected under European law. Conservation priority species. A conservative estimate of just 15 rats in one colony could eliminate 7% of the entire population in a single winter. 2,100 dead bats from 15 rats, and that's assuming the rats have other food sources. If winter is harsh and human waste decreases, that percentage climbs higher. But the numbers don't show what conservation biologists are actually worried about. Bats are already under pressure from habitat loss, light pollution, wind turbines, and white nose syndrome fungus. They're struggling. And now there's a new predator they didn't evolve with. Invasive rats using novel hunting strategies. They don't teach this in ecology textbooks. Urban wildlife isn't just adapting, it's innovating. And the animals that can't adapt fast enough disappear. Have you or someone you know witnessed unusual predator behavior in cities? Share your observation below. Scientists need these reports. And here's the part that affects you, because this isn't just about German bats and European rats. This is about what happens when humans modify ecosystems faster than native wildlife can respond. We create opportunities for invasive species, and those species fill ecological niches that were previously empty. Rats hunting bats in Germany. Pythons decimating Everglades mammals in Florida. Cane toads poisoning Australian predators. Same pattern, different continents. And I saved the most disturbing evidence for last. The part about disease transmission. Germany, 2025. Rats hunting bats in urban caves. Wuhan, 2019. Wildlife markets bringing bats and mammals into close contact. Same mechanism, different location. Bats carry coronaviruses, paramyxoviruses, rabies, and Ebola. They're reservoir hosts that don't get sick. Rats are urban survivors that live alongside humans. When rats hunt bats, they create a bridge. Bat viruses enter rat populations. Rats interact with humans daily. You see the pathway. This isn't speculation. The study authors explicitly warn about pathogen spillover potential. Check your own city's rat population near wildlife areas. This pattern is replicating. Send this to your local wildlife conservation group. Published October 2025. Global Ecology and Conservation. Direct quote from the study authors. Such interactions may facilitate spillover of bat-associated pathogens to rodents, potentially altering disease dynamics and expanding transmission opportunities to humans and domestic animals. Remember Evidence 1, the infrared footage. Evidence 2, the 52 bat cache. This is why it matters. Every rat that bites a bat creates a potential transmission event. Florian Glossaroche stated, "To our knowledge, this type of rat behavior has not previously been documented scientifically. We're watching a new ecological pathway emerge in real time. You will encounter urban rats in your lifetime. The question is whether you understand the diseases they might now carry. This is happening now. Subscribe to track these patterns as they develop." So what now? The researchers are working with German environmental agencies to develop rat mitigation strategies. Sealing sewer access, installing exclusion devices at cave entrances, reducing tourist food waste near hibernation sites. Basic conservation protocols that should have been implemented before rats learned to hunt flying mammals. Here's my controversial take. This wasn't an accident. We built cities, we generated food waste, we created habitat corridors connecting urban spaces to wildlife refuges. We did this, and then we act surprised when adaptable species, like rats, exploit the systems we created. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Explain how rats developing novel hunting strategies isn't a direct result of human habitat modification. You can't unknow this. Every news story about urban rats, you'll recognize the pattern. What will you do with this information? What animal behavior should I investigate next? Most compelling suggestion gets the next deep dive. Next week, I'm investigating another first-ever discovery. Scientists just documented vampire bats sharing blood with hungry colony members. Not relatives, not mates, strangers. Reciprocal altruism in one of nature's most feared predators. The evidence challenges everything we thought we knew about selfish gene theory. If these investigations matter to you, subscribe and hit the bell. I expose behavioral adaptations that mainstream channels miss. Every single week, verified science, zero speculation. Click here for vampire bat altruism. Or this one if you missed orcas cooperating with dolphins. See you there.